Hello, this is The Way of Fairness. My name is Stephen Childs. So I'm trying to come up with I'm working on a metaphor to explain perhaps the unexplainable, reality, God, universe, magic, prayer, changing bad luck to good luck, maybe even the ability to bend spoons, that kind of thing. So you could bend the spoon through prayer, God, will you bend this spoon for me? And God does. Or you could do it through magic, like that's what I'm going to talk about now. So, first of all, I want to explain the reality as a hologram. It's a metaphor. It's like a hologram. So that the whole thing is contained in all of the little parts that make, like pixels, say. Now this is just to try to get an idea. It's probably more like analog rather than digital, but who knows? Quantum would suggest that it's digital. So that's enough of that. Enough of that line of thought. So, the whole thing, call it God or just call it the whole thing, either way. Undivided oneness. Imagine that it's not a group of parts. Rather, it's one thing in the form of all the parts. There's a different effect. People have the idea of God as some separate thing among separate things. Good luck with that. Maybe it's true. I don't think it's true at all. I think God's the whole thing in the form of the small things. So fundamentally, there's one thing instead of a group of things. So here's why it's important to try out this belief. See if it works. This is the suggestion of chaos magic. I'm going to paraphrase the quote. There's no truth unless you think something's true. And you can do anything unless you think you shouldn't do certain things. So you're the one driving the bus. You're the one that's learning how to operate this vehicle called God, or the whole, to help the whole, and to help God. We need to learn how to help. So the small thing, it's like that game where you flip the block over and it all goes your color, and then the other opponent, the computer or whatever, tries to flip it back to blue. And so you're trying to make it all go your color. So you are trying to have control of the entire universe. This is what we're trying to do. We do it by aligning with it, by not opposing it, by working with it. So let's say God's yellow and I'm purple. And I need to learn somehow to change to yellow so I'm not opposed by anything. It's as if the whole thing is against me until I can learn how to change me to be the same as the wholeness. On the other hand, I'm purple and I realize God's yellow, but God should be purple too, because they have taken control. People that do others wrong have got control. Evil's winning. And so they've flipped God into yellow, because that's where evil wins. Then people that do others wrong win. So I think all of us have to learn how to win against the whole thing going against you. And it's doable. So as soon as you get the right request, the right prayer, the right spell, the right hex. So when you ask the right thing, then you save God. You rescue God from evil. And so God turns back. The whole thing turns back purple, which means that truth and fairness won. So the idea here is that the big can change the little, or the little can change the big. It can work either way. So I'm saying prayer or magic is when the individual, the perceived individual, us, I am the perceived individual, but I know that actually it's the oneness in the form of the perceived individual. So I see separate parts, but it's the oneness in the separate parts that is the form of the separate parts. Okay, so to get the prayer answered, you ask the right prayer, or you want the right spell to happen. You want to create the right servitor in chaos magic, the right sigil, and you energize it with love. So let me tell you something. God loves you if you love God. So I really think love makes this thing happen. We care about God. We don't want God becoming... It's going to become whatever the collective mind is, because the rocks and the drops of water in the ocean and all the atoms, they're not disturbed by what mind is doing at all. But mind emerged from them. And so now we became aware. We became aware of good and evil. So now it's our responsibility to protect the mind. So we're in a fight against the collective. So God will become whatever the consciousness of God, the mind aspect of physicality, and I really think that mind is an aspect of physicality, is some type of physical energy. I really don't think that idealism is right, because it's saying that there's two separate categories, mind and matter. And I'm saying, no, there's one category. So when, from evolution, mind happens, so then the whole thing turns to mind color. Before it was the color of no mind. Dark, you can use the metaphor of dark and light, but don't think dark is evil and light is good. Doing people wrong is evil, and not doing people wrong is good. That's logical. The other way, there's no basis for the belief. What is it based on? Somebody trying to win the game to be the most powerful, maybe? I'm the light and I'm the most powerful. No, I'm the dark and I have more power than you. Because you're doing people wrong and I'm not. That's who ends up winning. The one that's helping ends up winning. The one that's harming ends up losing. So, what is it that causes 1111 to show up? I'm suggesting that it's the interaction of the mind and getting the whole thing to change to our condition. And so when we're in alignment with it, the whole thing changed into our condition, and these coincidences happen. Or color, if you want to call it color. So it becomes our color. And you can choose the color. So this is just a metaphor to try to understand. Now then, there are beings, in my experience, that are more advanced than humans. And we can't even see them. But I suggest that they are a physical form. They're some kind of energy, subtle, but powerful. And they're already the oneness. So they're like already everywhere at once. Humans can't do that yet. Except in this connection with it that I'm explaining. So then we're beyond space and time. And it's when I've given myself to God, totally, that I'm aligned with God, then I'm out of the way. I become the problem if I'm not out of the picture. I have to get myself out of the picture by giving myself to God. So the only picture is God. Then God arranges 11:11 to show up 20 times in one day. I once had a dream that a brick of gold was going to manifest next to me on my bed as I was sleeping. And I was working with these other minds in my dream, with my dream mind. And it's like I found the right key, metaphorically, to make it happen. And they woke me up, wide awake. And I look over, nothing's there. And I'm thinking, what is that about? So I suggest that this is these higher non-human intelligences that we work with in our dreams. And throughout the day, if we're paying attention. They're working with the animals. I think I'm an animal. I just am not going to accept that humans are any different than any of the other forms of life. We might have been manipulated by other non-Earth intelligences in a harmful way. But that can be corrected. Over time, we will gain domination by not dominating, by not doing people wrong. And the effect of evil upon our genetics will fade away. It'll just vanish, metaphorically. So, we're in a struggle to not be depressed. We're in a struggle to have fun, to have joy in our life. And we're competing to win against people that are trying to defeat us. So we're really not winning, we're just stopping them from defeating us, and then they lose. They experience it as a tragic loss because they can't control us. I guess I shouldn't laugh at them. Have compassion, forgive them, let them try. And it's like, see it in a different way where there's some reason they think they need to try to win, and maybe they do for some reason I don't know, but it's just as important that we don't get defeated. And so it's kind of like you're rescuing the drowning person and you have to knock them out so they don't drown you, so you can rescue them. That's just a silly story about it. It's not how it happens, but the power of evil is defeated so that we can rescue it and say, look, you're invited to stop doing people wrong, and then you're no longer evil. We're not blaming you for trying. It was because of the way things are that you tried to control everything instead of aligning with everything. Because it was, you hadn't been taught. No one showed you a more powerful way. So years ago I realized that I was being exploited by others, done wrong by others. And so I didn't know how to stop them. I forgave myself. Totally. It was incredible. So I was on the right track to experience love for myself. I'll do anything for me. But I know if I do others wrong, I'm harming me. That's just a condition of reality. It's not commanded to us by some separate God that doesn't exist, in my opinion. There isn't anything separate from anything else, in my opinion. It's a perception. It's a gift of getting to live a life of an individual in this reality of undivided oneness. See, now that I've learned how to play this game of forgiveness, yesterday I was being told that I'm being betrayed in ways I couldn't even imagine before. This is all internal. And I'm thinking, so let them do it. Forgive them. I'm not fighting them. When I'm not fighting them, they cannot win, and they are forced into learning a higher way of existence. Thanks for listening.